Welcome to Global Watch. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates in a move that has stunned the world. The unthinkable has happened. The global football community is reeling from a decision that seemed impossible just months ago. FIFA has officially stripped the United States of its co-hosting rights for the 2026 World Cup, sending shockwaves through the sporting world and beyond. The announcement came after an emergency meeting at FIFA headquarters, with officials citing a series of escalating crises. The tournament, once celebrated as a symbol of North American unity and cooperation, will now see Canada take on nearly all games originally planned for American soil. The shift is historic, marking the first time a major host nation has been removed so close to the event. This unprecedented decision follows months of escalating concerns over political instability, security crises, and human rights issues in the U.S. Widespread protests, government gridlock, and a series of violent incidents at major events raised red flags for FIFA and international observers. The dream of a World Cup final in New York has vanished overnight, leaving American fans devastated and cities with millions in lost investments. Stadiums that were once bustling with anticipation now stand empty, their future uncertain. FIFA President Gianni Infantino addressed the world, citing an untenable security situation and the inability of U.S. authorities to guarantee safety for players, officials, and fans. He emphasized that the safety of everyone involved in the tournament must come first, no matter the cost. Canada, once a junior partner in this grand event, now faces the monumental task of hosting the world's biggest sporting spectacle in less than a year. Canadian cities are scrambling to expand infrastructure, recruit volunteers, and ensure they can meet the enormous expectations of a global audience. For the global football community, this is a sobering reminder that the beautiful game cannot escape the realities of the world. Fans everywhere are left to grapple with disappointment, uncertainty, and a sense of loss for what could have been a unifying celebration. The 2026 World Cup will be remembered not for unity, but for the division that tore it apart. A stark lesson in how even the world's greatest sporting event is not immune to the fractures of our time. To grasp the shock of today's news, we must look back to 2018 when the United States, Canada, and Mexico won the right to host the expanded 48-team World Cup. Their bid promised a risk-free, high-profit tournament, leveraging world-class stadiums and infrastructure. The U.S. was set to host 60 of 80 matches, including the final at MetLife Stadium near New York City. Canada and Mexico were to host 10 matches each, symbolizing continental unity. The expanded format meant more teams, more fans, and more global engagement, with the U.S. perfectly positioned to handle the scale. Cities across America began massive preparations, expecting a tourism and economic boom. The dream was a seamless, diverse celebration of soccer. No one foresaw that the bid's primary host would become its greatest liability. The foundation of the tournament has now been shaken to its core. The image of a stable United States unraveled in 2024 and 2025, as a series of violent events cast doubt on the nation's ability to host a global event. The world watched in shock as the country, once seen as a beacon of stability, descended into chaos. A mass shooting at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City and the assassination of activist Charlie Kirk highlighted deep security concerns. These incidents were not isolated. They were part of a disturbing trend that painted a grim picture of the nation's security landscape. President Trump's return to office saw 2 assassination attempts, intensifying political volatility. The atmosphere was charged, with every public appearance becoming a potential flashpoint for violence. The hashtag #StripUSA trended worldwide, as fans and officials questioned the wisdom of sending millions into such an environment. Social media became a battleground, with opinions sharply divided on the safety and viability of the U.S. as a host nation. FIFA initially downplayed concerns, but the U.S. government's sweeping travel bans and aggressive immigration enforcement only heightened fears. The measures intended to secure the nation, instead, fueled a narrative of exclusion and hostility. International fans and teams faced uncertainty, with ICE presence and canceled events sending a message of exclusion. The atmosphere at airports and stadiums was tense, with many feeling unwelcome and scrutinized. The Club World Cup in Miami was canceled after surprise inspections, further eroding confidence. The cancellations were a blow to the sporting community, which had hoped for a celebration of unity and competition. The U.S. was no longer seen as a welcoming host, but as a nation in crisis. Fan zones that were once vibrant and full of life became ghost towns, reflecting the broader sense of unease and disappointment. The spirit of global unity was replaced by suspicion and division. The beautiful game, meant to bring people together, was now a stage for conflict and mistrust. The world began to question if the US could guarantee anyone's safety. The dream of a global celebration in the United States had turned into a nightmare of uncertainty and fear. Beyond security, human rights concerns further eroded FIFA's confidence in the US. FIFA's new human rights framework required all host cities to submit action plans, but several American cities missed deadlines and showed little urgency. The Trump administration's travel ban directly challenged FIFA's non-discrimination policy, while aggressive immigration enforcement created a climate of fear. Labor advocates warned of unsafe conditions and wage theft, especially in states with weak worker protections. Advocacy groups feared a repeat of past mass displacements of unhoused populations, as seen in Atlanta during the 1996 Olympics. California's push for new laws targeting encampments stoked these fears. For FIFA, the risk of widespread human rights violations became too great to ignore. The final decision came after an emergency FIFA Council session in Zurich. Intense debate weighed financial catastrophe against moral and security risks. A damning security report concluded that the US could not guarantee safety, citing political instability, extremist threats, and gun violence. The report warned that only extreme militarization could secure the event, contradicting the World Cup's spirit. Gianni Infantino announced the relocation of all US matches to Canada and Mexico, calling it a move without precedent in World Cup history. The final, once destined for New York, will now be held in Toronto. FIFA has never before stripped a host nation of this stature so close to kickoff. The world's game has been uprooted, and the aftershocks are just beginning. The economic fallout for the US is immediate and severe. 11 host cities lose out on over $5 billion in projected revenue, devastating local economies and businesses. Hotels, restaurants, and transportation services face a sudden financial void. Politically, the Trump administration faces international humiliation and domestic outrage, with critics blaming its policies for the loss. The decision cements a global perception of the US as unstable and unreliable. The World Cup's loss becomes a symbol of declining American prestige and unity. US soccer's hopes of propelling the sport into the mainstream are dashed, with the federation left to pick up the pieces. The fan base is left disappointed and angry, feeling robbed of a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The road ahead for soccer in America is now uncertain and steep. The dream of unity has turned into a story of recrimination and lost opportunity. For Canada, this is a seismic challenge and a golden opportunity. From hosting just 10 matches, Canada now takes on the majority of the tournament, including the final in Toronto. The government has pledged full support, and cities like Montreal and Edmonton are being prepared as new hosts. Stadiums and infrastructure must be rapidly upgraded, requiring unprecedented national coordination. Economically, Canada stands to gain billions in tourism and investment, creating jobs and boosting the economy. The event will showcase Canada's multicultural identity and stability to the world. For Canadian soccer, this is a dream come true, inspiring a new generation of players and fans. Canada steps into the global spotlight, ready to host the world. Experts across the globe are calling FIFA's decision a true paradigm shift in the world of international sports governance, one that will have ripple effects far beyond the pitch. This is not just a routine change in host cities, it's a signal that the rules of the game are being rewritten at the highest levels, with implications for how nations are perceived on the world stage. Dr. Jules Boykoff, a leading voice in sports policy, notes that this marks the beginning of a new era, one where reputational risk now outweighs the lure of financial reward for hosting mega events. Countries must now consider not just the economic benefits, but also the global scrutiny and potential backlash that come with such high-profile opportunities. Financial analyst Priya Sharma describes the decision as a direct and significant transfer of wealth from US cities to their Canadian counterparts. She explains that the economic impact will be felt not only in lost tourism and hospitality revenue, but also in missed opportunities for local businesses and workers. Every dollar that was once destined for Miami or Los Angeles, hotels, restaurants, transportation and entertainment will now be spent in Toronto or Vancouver. The shift is expected to boost Canadian cities' profiles and economies, while leaving a noticeable gap in the American market. Former US Ambassador Michael McFaul sees the move as a significant blow to American soft power and its global image. He points out that hosting the World Cup has always been about more than just sports. It's about influence, prestige, and the ability to shape international perceptions. Hosting the World Cup is a powerful tool of public diplomacy. Losing that opportunity is a stunning vote of no confidence in the host nation. It sends a message to the world about which countries are seen as reliable partners and which are not. The decision reflects a growing perception of the United States as a source of global uncertainty, both politically and economically. International observers are questioning America's ability to provide the stability and openness required for such major events. Soccer leaders like Landon Donovan have expressed deep disappointment, but also acknowledged the importance of prioritizing safety, inclusivity, and a welcoming environment for all participants and fans. They recognize that these values are now at the forefront of international decision-making. The challenge for U.S. soccer is now to rebuild from the grassroots, investing in youth development and community engagement, and to prepare for a future opportunity to host. The road ahead will require resilience, innovation, and a renewed commitment to the sport's core values. The world is watching closely and the lessons are clear. In today's interconnected era, stability, openness, and trust are non-negotiable for those who wish to lead on the global stage. FIFA's decision to move the 2026 World Cup is a watershed moment, redefining the relationship between sports and politics. The privilege of hosting the world comes with responsibility. Instability and human rights failures have consequences. For the US, this is a painful lesson and a call to action for fans and officials to build a safer, more welcoming society. For Canada, it's a historic chance to showcase its values and deliver a memorable tournament. The 2026 World Cup will go on, but it will be forever marked by this dramatic upheaval. It will be remembered as the year FIFA prioritized principles over profit, and America was benched. The beautiful game reflects our world, and today, that reflection changed forever.